All right. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste to you, Allie.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Heart and Soul Connected. I'm Allie. And today I have a special guest, a very special friend of mine, Mary, who does healing stories and also sistership circles. And we have known each other for actually 13 years. Not in
Wow.
the physical sense. We've never met physically,
Came close a
but
few
we met
times.
on Zod.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met on Zods. So, Mary, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm here on this beautiful sunny Sunday. There's snow melting on the ground as it does here in the Southwest. I'm in New Mexico. And I got my little electric car stuck in the snow today. So I
Oh, no.
had to change cars with my husband because we have a shared cat and we call it shared custody. So I was
Okay.
bring George to him, and I couldn't get out, so we switched. And yeah. So that's where I'm at in the present moment. Reality check, and it's a
That's
beautiful
awesome.
day. And I'm really grateful to be here. Thanks so much for having me on this lovely show.
Thing.
Yeah.
Mary and I actually lived about, I don't know, probably about 40 minutes from each other when we first joined Zods because we both lived in Massachusetts at the time.
Yes.
And then Mary moved out west, and then I moved out west, and here we are. And we stay connected. So we haven't been able to meet. She came to Seattle once, and I was busy, and I went down to New Mexico, and she was busy. So someday we'll get together, Mary.
Yes.
We'll have stories to tell.
Post-pandemic, we'll all have many, many stories if we all.
Oh, we will.
all
We
the time.
will.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, Mary, I want you to start by telling everybody a little bit more about what it is that you do at Healing Stories. And if you want to tie in the sistership, I think it's one and the same, or maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me about that.
Well, sistership is a part of Healing Stories now that I've
Okay.
gone through all the trainings of sistership, and it's become such a part of my life. And
Mm-hmm.
so how it connects with Healing Stories is obviously about stories. And I help people tell their life stories through writing, through spoken word, through therapeutic monologues now and then, and writing groups
Mm-hmm.
online. And I've been working one-to-one with, it happens to be men in their 80s who are ready to
Ooh.
leave their legacy behind.
Okay.
The majority of them have been in the early stages of Alzheimer's, which is one of my specialties as a former social worker, right?
Uh-huh.
So we built the trusting relationship together and sit side by side, and I record their stories, and we
Wow.
co-author the book, but it's their story, it's their voice. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love that. And right now I'm not doing that because it's in person and the technology is
Correct.
too challenging for that
Too challenging.
particular
Yeah. Yep.
population. So I'm
Yeah.
doing sistership circles, which is they're all online. I used to do them in person, and I will continue to do them in person after the pandemic, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
continue to do them virtually as well because it's wonderful to have women from around the world in these
Oh,
circles
yes.
connecting all
Absolutely.
together,
Connect. Yeah.
virtual
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love that idea because I think that we, as women, we can get very lonely for our own kind. To be, I love men and I get along well with them, but they it's just sisterhood. Sisterhood is a very tightly connected. Yeah.
It is, and it's also very wounded as well. We've been wounded, and we wound each other because it's kind of like divide and conquer from the
Right.
patriarchy, right?
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, and so that's what led me to do this work is
Okay.
to heal the sister wound and the mother wound, and I've been doing that a lot, and it's a wonderful way, getting rid of the old models of competition and
Yes.
really, weaving in community like you're doing. You're building community.
Right.
It's really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Providing all different kinds of stories to other people, basically, but just in a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Mary.
Hmm.
So I know why my stories are so important. These elder men that you've talked to, are they saving it for their families? Are you a tape recording or any of or you're just mostly writing them and working with them with questions?
Oh, I use all different ways.
Okay. Okay.
I'll record and transcribe or Some of them speak really slowly, so I can just type as they speak.
Hmm.
And I coined this term, companion editing, where we sit side by side after I have recorded their stories in writing, and we just comb through to make sure it's all in their language. And
Wow.
often details are missing. So fortunately, with all this series of elder gentlemen, their wives have been alive and have been able to fill in some of the details. Like, it was a car, what kind of car,
Oh,
to
yeah, sure.
put some flesh on the bones.
Right,
That's
right.
fun. It's become a family thing. So they've all done it to be published, self-published, and
Oh, they have. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part of the process. And then we have a celebration after the book, and they always invite me, and I'm acknowledged in each
Oh,
one. It's really sweet, and I'm still in touch. One gentleman died, but I'm still in touch with the last client right before the pandemic.
right.
It's just
Sure.
it's deep, and I
I
think
bet you miss going. Yeah. I bet
yeah,
you miss
yeah,
that. And I know they do. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I know they do.
You
Mm-hmm.
want to know something, Allie, and people out there? There's something that I'll share that's very personal about the work that I do and why I do it. My
Yeah.
why is because my dad died of a fatal heart attack just suddenly at the age of 75. And,
Mm-hmm.
he was a retired colonel. He had served in Vietnam, and it was related to Agent Orange exposure.
Mm-hmm.
But that was such a shock. And he was a larger than life character, my dad, Bill Reeves, as was his dad and his mother. So, anyway, he had all these stories, and he told them so well. And I never recorded those stories.
I know.
And he'd slap his hand and have that raspy laugh. And oh my God. So
Uh,
that was one of my life regrets. And I thought, okay,
yes.
I want to, that was that crystallizing moment where I was like, I want to be there for
Yeah.
others to help.
To keep those stories. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why I became a social worker too. When I
Wow.
was in therapy as a teenager because of a series of family tragedies. And there were occasionally a counselor that just, wow, that was the moment where I realized I want to be on that side of the fence, helping people who are going through some dark times. So it's really
Wow.
wonderful to have those moments.
That's fabulous. That's so good. I love that. My aunt was a pretty interesting person. She ended up playing the organ for many, many years, and she was involved in a lot of it. And somebody did that for her. It wasn't necessarily, you know, as back and forth, I don't think, but I think they just started talking to her about her stories, and I have it. It was published,
Oh,
in a small
oh,
form. Yeah. And I love it because it talks about other relatives in my family that I have gone now. And I happen to have 30 years of handwritten diaries my father wrote. So I love that. He wrote his own story, even though his mostly was the weather.
yes,
But
yes.
there
You
are
done.
things in
Yeah,
there he did say, that were
yeah.
wonderful. So that's what I do now. I do all that journaling for my kids, and
That's beautiful. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
really
wonderful.
beautiful. So you really get it. And then some that's how
Oh yeah,
stories come out, and those stories are passed down through the generations. And so it's just such a precious gift. It really is.
it
Yeah.
is. It is, and we need to ask these older people to tell their stories. People, the problem is that a lot of people have their elders put away, so to speak, in a rest home or something, and never go visit them, never ask them anything, and they'll live longer. They'll be much happier if they're able to even remember all those nice stories from the past, and some maybe not so nice, but gives us a little bit more perspective in how people lived. Yeah.
It's really true. And that's a good point you make about not such happy tales, because working with
Right.
the World War II generation, or can be called the silent generation, the things were
Hmm.
swept under the rug to a large extent, right? My
Yeah.
mom's that generation. She's
Yes.
85. She's alive and well, living in
Hmm.
independent living. I can't visit her, and I'm like many others.
Oh, I'm
I can
sorry.
stand and wave and touch the glass, but
Yeah, not the same.
to a
Yeah.
2-day drive. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's tricky when with that generation to tell the shadow side of their life stories.
Yes.
They
Well, my mother and father were older than yours because they would be 100 and 103 or something. But everything was, don't air your dirty laundry. You don't tell people things.
right.
And it took me a long time. I'm sort of out there. I just let people know what I feel. And I feel like that's more healing, than letting, holding back and being secretive, let's say. Yeah.
Right. And you know what? I think this is probably universally known, but why this works well when I work with people, whether it's the elders or not, it's that it's so hard to have those dark side of the stories told with the
Yes.
family. There's so much wounding that happens, right? Intergenerational, and whether they're conscious or not. So you get somebody like me, say, that comes in and through the trusting relationship, at the right time, I can probe a little and
Yeah.
some pieces of the story, and it's really fascinating process. And I
It,
love doing circle, like too.
oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very much. I remember when I was much younger, I seemed to get people to say things that they don't tell other people. And I was talking with the grandmother of a friend of mine who didn't have a male but had a child. And in that generation, you didn't talk about it. This person was 90 or 80 at the time I talked to them. And she started telling me about the man that she had married and how he left and how he did this and how he did that. And I ended up telling my friend later on, your grandmother told me this and this. What?
Right. Family secrets revealed.
I know. He didn't know any of that. But you know what? He never asked. And I asked, but when I asked, I said, if it's okay, can you tell me? I didn't just say, tell me this. I wasn't joking or anything, but it was fascinating. It really was. Yeah.
I'm so glad you had that experience, and good for the family too.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Even though it's harder for family members to get those stories, I really I created a ebook, a 10-page document on how to record your elder stories.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
People go to healingstories.com. They can just put their email address in and receive that. And if they don't, no. And it doesn't mean they're signing up for anything else, because that's all they'll get unless they contact.
So I'm gonna write that here. Healingstories.com. That's it. Okay.
And I'm excited to share something about that. Is we have a team now. It's not just me.
Okay.
So I brought someone on who's a professional writer and a poet and storyteller and workshop facilitator. His name is Wayne Lee. Hi, Wayne.
Okay.
And if you click meet the team on the website, you'll read about him.
Okay.
And I have 2 women on the team who are the web designers and tech support. So, yeah. My blog's a little behind because I journal so much, so I need to get more writing on the blog.
Sure. Well, sometimes we just have to shift. Constance, who is here with us right now, says that her dad's 81 and she's soaking every bit of knowledge from him. And I say, amen to you, girl.
Yeah, that's great.
I know. I'll give you a high five. Really, kudos.
Yeah.
All right. I want to. So you've led also therapeutic monologue workshops. So talk to me about that. A little bit about that.
Okay, I was trained in this model. I can't even believe it. In Santa Fe, only in Santa Fe, you can become a certified therapeutic monologue facilitator, right?
Right.
And so that's a journey, and that is gathering a group of people, and there's a theme, whether it's caregivers or and one that I did was called Nurses Speak, bringing together a group of nurses who have so many stories to tell, so many untold stories. And that was, a few years back. And now, oh my God, I feel like I should do it again and just offer it to them
to all these healthcare workers.
Yeah.
Yes.
After it's not, after a while. But anyway, we gather together. It's a 5-day non-residential workshop. People can come from out of town, and they have come for them. And stayed, and it's an intense, they write and share and really get that, really open up. And then their homework is to really see what resonates with them the most and reduce. But that about the writing process, right?
Yes.
It's not what you write, it's more challenge what you take away. And so then by the end of that 3 to 5 days, depending on how it's structured, the people in the group all have a 20-minute monologue, and by then the group has bonded
and trust,
so deeply, and we do all kind of exercises and improv, and we get stuck. We get up it's very body centered too. It's not just all sitting and writing, but we do a lot of writing and sharing, and being vulnerable with each other. in that container. And
Wow.
then at the end, when once everyone has their monologues, I kind of put on my director hat, and I'll have a venue reserved, and they share their stories on stage in front of an audience.
Wow. They're usually that comfortable to do that?
Well, it's a big process. Well, let me tell you, the last one was the Me Too monologues, and that was at a Black Box Theater
Oh.
in Santa Fe. And it was a
Uh-huh.
group of courageous women, and one at a time they shared, but they stayed on stage with each other. Each had, so they felt that container still. They felt they were right there.
Right.
Everyone had their back, and it was standing room only, and people were turned away. It was really, that was the at the height
Wow.
of the Me Too movement, when it was just bursting at the seams, and
Right.
everyone needed to tell their story. So,
Mhm.
so it was. They felt really called, and I'm so
Sure.
proud of them. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it just seems to me that they're right now we're just needing this so desperately. Um,
Hmm.
we're just all hurting and we're tired and we need community so desperately. Wow. I can see you doing this with people like that after this is all over, but it's important, I suppose, too, to still be able to do it online and have
Yes.
some
Oh,
kind of help. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's imperative, that we
Sure.
share the stories, and we're hearing them everywhere. And there's so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
different sources, and it happens to be my passion, and
Yeah.
one of my passions. And
Hmm.
there's so many, like there's StoryCorps, and there's the Moth Radio. There's
Oh,
Engaging Presence. I'll do a little plug for Sally Fox, PhD, who
okay.
co-facilitated with Nurses Speak. She works
Uh-huh.
more with corporations, and I work more non-corporate. It's because I'm coming from the nonprofit sector. That's
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
not my jam. Going into
Uh-huh.
the corporate world.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's like
Wow.
you stay to education. You branch out,
Hmm.
lots of cool things.
Hmm.
But that's your love, is
Yeah,
education. You're so good at it, and
it is.
so
Yeah.
devoted
It
to it.
brings me joy. And so does spiritual stuff brings me so much joy. So it,
Yes,
it
yes.
is, it's almost like oxygen, isn't it?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
people change. You watch. That's the thing, is we get to elicit people's stories. You get it through what they write and share with you as well.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
then we get to hold the space for them, and deeply listen and respond and witness. And so the gift, I think, one of the greatest gifts we can give, um, is to witness someone's growth, to listen that deeply, for them to trust
Right.
us that deeply, that they can then share a story they've been holding. And in the
Right.
sharing process, there's an alchemy that happens. The story begins to change, right? Because we tell
Mhm.
ourselves these stories that limit us. But once you go deeper into them and tap into what, like, most wants to emerge and be heard, then the story changes, and that's where the transformation happens. The magic. So nobody's the same after telling a
No, they
story,
aren't.
if
Yep.
they're really listening to themselves.
Hmm. Hmm.
And sometimes they need to be challenged to go deeper.
Right. Well, it does provide a catharsis for somebody, when they can really look at something right in the face and share it with somebody else. It really does. It can provide a catharsis for both people, really, if they can relate to it, especially.
Yeah.
So,
And the
um,
audience, think of,
one of the
go ahead, Tim.
go ahead.
No,
No, go ahead.
the listener is not always one-on-one. It's the group. It's the group that's going on the journey together. It's the people
Right.
that are listening in the audience. A very intimate experience. Yeah.
Do you use a talking stick at all? Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love, I
yeah.
love the council method. I'm
Uh-huh.
trained in that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and part of that, of my visually, I have the computer on a Lazy Susan from I got
Oh,
from my so I
so
keep
you're
kind of
sliding a little bit. We can dance. Not to worry, I got mine on a box because otherwise you're looking up my nose. So I think it's a better
You look
deal.
great. And pink's a nice color on you. I love it with that stuff.
Thanks. My favorite color.
Mm.
Um, let's get back a little bit to you say you also lead, well, you're leading them for women, you're leading them for men. Are you seeing a difference? Because I sometimes wonder if men are, and not the older men, but younger-ish men, 40s, 50s. Are they able to do their sharing? Are they able to open up and tell their stories? Yeah.
Yes, and that's so important too. And men do that in men's groups. Like this.
Right.
I mentioned Wayne Lee, who he's in the Mankind Project, and
Hmm.
they get together weekly, and non-pandemic times they get together in person. Just like women, it's so important for our own genders to get together to do the work,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then also to come together. So I only work exclusively with men one-to-one
Uh-huh.
for stories, but in the
Right.
workshop context, it's with both, and it's really about exploring the masculine and feminine energies,
I love it.
and that's such a deep self-exploration, as you know, and then
Yes. Yes.
finding really juicy creative ways to discover those gems in ourselves and where there's imbalance, and trace them back, and then really help bring more balance to those energies.
Right. Because we are really part male, part female energies, all of us. And sometimes we
Sure.
express more in one and less. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Jungian
So
manifestation.
tell me about some of the things that you're going to be offering, and are there openings? Can people get a hold of you? Are you, are you able to?
Well, let's see, maybe. No, I'm kidding.
That's
Oh, I just love to laugh with you, and I like
all right.
they call
Mary's
me
a laughing Buddha, not a laughing Buddha, a laughing yoga teacher,
Oh
not
yeah,
yoga.
laughter yoga,
Yoga.
right? Yeah. So I was laughing in the shower today, just for no reason, just to laugh. Just to laugh. It feels so good,
It
and I
does
like
feel
to
good.
weave that into my circles a little bit. And
That's
it can be a
wonderful.
stretch for people to laugh for no reason, and
Oh
but
yeah,
so contagious, and your
it is.
body experiences the same benefits whether it's a fake laugh or a real laugh. So
Hmm.
and invariably, inevitably ends up as real laughter. So you asked me a juicy question. What do I have going? What's cooking with me? And
Uh-huh.
that is, I have this 12-week program online called The Experience, and it is
Okay.
just for women.
Hmm.
And I have 5 women, and I have room for 3 more. And
Okay.
it's called a breakthrough journey
Uh-huh.
in the context of trusting community that we co-create.
Okay.
It's a beautiful curriculum. I'm just so excited about it because we're going to just build the trust and go deep. And I'm so thrilled with the women that are hearing the call. So
Yes.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So
That's
there's
great.
that. Yeah, that
Okay.
starts on the solstice, very auspicious beginning time. We
Ooh,
have that
perfect. Yes.
conjunction of the planets of
Yeah.
Jupiter and Saturn.
Yeah.
We've been in the dawning of the age of Aquarius, and some people believe that the age of Aquarius is beginning this month, and we have
Yes.
a lot of
So we've heard, actually tomorrow we're going to start off with this eclipse, and then
wow, yeah,
I know, very
everybody
powerful.
buckle up for the ride.
I know. Wow, it's amazing. It is. But we've got so many things changing, and we need to have ourselves prepared for the call. I say, because
Yeah.
all of us are being called to something, and I think we're all being called to the same thing, just in different ways. We're like patchwork quilts.
Oh,
Um,
beautiful image,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And
So
we,
it's
we're weaving, and
right.
that's what we do in
Yeah.
the sistership circles. We actually instead of checking in, we call it stitching in. We stitch in, we stitch out, because we're all like this beautiful um, woven quilt together. Yeah.
Right.
And then with the
That's
men, Wayne and I are co-facilitating a half-day workshop in January, and
hmm
we'll introduce the 4-week program that will happen um, every Saturday after that, 2 weeks after that. So I'll keep people
hmm
posted. I'll put it on the website, and it'll be on social
That's
media.
awesome.
Yeah, but bringing them.
Yeah. And then once this is all over, which we don't know when, but you
Mhm.
do have in-person um,
Oh,
meetings or,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And how often if it was normal times, how often would you have them, quarterly or something? And are they all in Santa Fe?
Well, the women's circles that meet, they meet monthly, um,
Okay.
and those are in Santa Fe. And,
Okay.
and then the workshops are now and then. So
Right. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Yeah. When the
But you go to
venues
other places like California or no?
That's the plan. I mean, it's we're practicing in our home
Okay.
state right now. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So
I know.
we're all,
You'll have to come to Seattle. Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to. So hopefully
Yeah.
this is such a time, like you're mentioning virtual versus in person, and there's just advantages and disadvantages to that. Just like
Yeah.
anything in the pandemic,
Yeah.
there's so many gems, and some people are really enjoying these times,
Yeah.
and I'm so grateful for so many people that are devoting their time in service. And then
Yes.
there are those of us who are high risk who can't do that. So I've like made this
Right.
promise after this is over, I'm going to jump in. So
Yeah.
meanwhile, I have service how I can from the safety of my own home, like you
That's
are.
awesome.
Yeah.
I tweaked my English classes, my composition kids. Some of them are still in high school because they do dual credit. But so they're between 16 and 20, 22, something like that. And I tweaked my assignment for them. They used to do a personal story,
Mhm.
about something that happened in the past, which is fine. But this time I asked them to please write about what they've been doing and how COVID has influenced them because we've been
Mhm.
stuck in this for so long. I
Yeah.
saw an awful lot of healing, and I saw an awful lot of kindness and
Mhm.
genuine feeling around family and how they play games and everything. So I'm seeing that this generation that's coming up is also open to those things, less so than some of the others because they were too busy.
Mhm.
But these people have had to stay home. And so, it's going to be very, very difficult,
Yeah.
but,
Big, adjustments, transitions,
yeah, yeah,
all around. And,
yeah,
I think there'll be fewer of us unaffected by losses from COVID deaths than
right.
people who
Oh, I
are
know. There's going
immune.
to be lots of stories that will need to be told. So one of the viewers asks, "Do you have a YouTube channel, Mary?"
It's a
And I,
yes. Well, I'll say this 2 words. Not yet, but
not
coming
yet.
to a YouTube channel near you soon, perhaps. That's a
Yeah,
goal for the new year. So
maybe. It's not
2020.
really difficult to do. And, you can get a support from many others in the community that can introduce you. So I hope you do if that's your path and
Thank
you're
you.
so good at it. I feel very relaxed talking on here, but I deal with students all day. But I think because you're a social worker and you've dealt with people in groups and other things that you just come across very, very comfortable as well. So
Thank
that's
you.
a
Thank
that's a
you.
good feeling.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to throw a couple of questions at you, unless somebody else has any questions they want to ask to tie this up. But um, there was one question that really stuck out. What are you reading right now? What are you reading?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm reading the Tortilla Chronicles. That sounds so
Ooh,
today, right? Because it is.
okay. Yeah.
And when I moved into this little house, this historic neighborhood, I was so curious, and I met my next door neighbor,
Uh-huh.
and she loaned me this book, and it's all about the history of this neighborhood. This
Oh,
the
wow.
next couple came here,
Yeah.
and it was just a dusty dirt road, and then before you know it, their whole family were building houses all along this road. The whole road
Right.
was theirs, and there's a map, and there's stories, and the
Oh,
women who own this house that I rent from, their aunt and uncle or grandparents, I'm not sure, they were the ones who invented really this creative tin work on thin tin, artwork on
oh,
tin.
yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, very right here on my street, and it's in the Smithsonian now. And the woman who wrote the book
Oh,
lives at the end of the street here. So I hope to meet her someday. Maria Cash Romero. It's the Romero family of Santa Fe.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm reading a book by John O'Donohoe, who is the
Oh,
Celtic. Yeah, I've read some of
okay.
his stuff. Anam Cara, I've read that book, but there was
Mhm.
others that were recommended by this gal who makes. I'm a journal keeper, so I have a lot of journals, and she makes handmade journals out of England, and she liked him, so I ended up getting all his books.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, yeah. I,
Wow.
yeah. Renee says she finds it interesting. Uh, she still finds interesting stories she never heard about her city. And I do too.
Mm.
I feel that way when I'm wanting to know, what was before I was here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
And
That's
Santa Fe
awesome.
is so
Oh,
ripe,
it is.
as you
It's
know.
it's
So old.
magical. It's magical there. I've been there 3 or 4 times.
Oh.
And house, but the it's the first time I went there was the most magical, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, I would love to be there at Christmas, but when we can be outside and yeah,
Right. I don't think that the Canyon Road,
no,
I think
that's
it's going to be blocked off by the police this
yeah,
year.
sure.
Yeah.
But normally on a normal Christmas,
Right.
it would
Right.
the lighting is so, and I love
Oh,
that the hummingbirds. There's always hummingbirds right in front of the windows of the stores when I was there.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not, not at Christmas, but yeah, I can't wait for y'all to come and me to meet.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so comfortable in this conversation with you because of who you are, Allie. You're just a
Oh,
natural.
you're sweet.
So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah.
I really do believe in empowering my sisters, and I can't thank you enough for
Oh,
agreeing to do this. So
I can't
you'll
thank
have
you
to
for
come back
inviting me.
again. Maybe we'll find more things to talk about, but
Oh, we always will.
we always can. Yeah, we can talk about laughter yoga. I see. I always add the R. I'm from New England, and I add an R to everything, but it's yoga, not
They
yoga.
do that in Texas too. My dad's a Texan, and he used to
Oh,
say, they used to add the R. Yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting.
With me, it's ideas. I say
Uh-huh.
ideas, and people always
But
know that I'm not from around here.
in Gloucester and Boston, you drop it and it becomes the AH at the end. Gloucester.
Worcester, yeah,
Yeah,
Worcester, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's for sure.
Oh,
Well,
it's
thank
so
you,
far
Mary.
away. Thank you too, Allie.
Thank you.
And it's
All
wonderful
right.
to be connected online. And y'all keep telling your stories and stay safe and well out there. And thank you so much. We'll start
Thank you.
today as well.
I'll be posting your information on my channel at the bottom so people can get a hold of you. All right.
Thank you. Thanks so
Thank
much,
you,
Allie.
Mary. All right. Bye bye.
Many blessings. Thank you. Bye.